Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back, Star Fam. I'm sorry I'm a couple days late, but I had to gather some more information because this subject about New Earth just became something much, much more, and I thought I might as well just talk about it all. This is my greatest message. This is something that I was kind of warming up to in my podcast and in everything kind of. I didn't want to overwhelm everybody with this information because it is a lot, but it is something that hit me really hard 6 years ago when I had my awakening. And I learned most of this information within 2 weeks of just me looking and researching, and just my brain was like a sponge soaking it all in. And now I have to share this message because after putting these puzzle pieces together, and let me be clear, this is mostly speculation. This is based off my personal experience and how I've put all these puzzle pieces together, be it religion, spirituality, meditation, um, all of these different things. I like world events, prophecies. I put all of this stuff together and painted a bigger picture of what's really going on in the world and what exactly our existence means, why we are here, and what our soul is, this whole soul journey, this human experience, everything that we're dealing with. I'm going to explain it all, not in too much detail, but I am going to get into everything and I'm going to cover everything as quickly as possible because I want this message to reach more people, and I want it to be a simple, clear, thought out message, which is why I wrote an article first, and that way everything is going to flow a lot easier. Let's just get right into it. Most people dream of new worlds. They will live vicariously through movies and fantasy novels and sci-fi, and they'll even wish to be like superheroes. But what is the obsession with superheroes today? Is it really just an obsession, or is it something more? What if deep down we're just homesick because we used to live in a world full of magic? Well, we may have forgotten this world that we came from, but our soul never did. Deep down you know this to be true. There was once a place full of pure love and magic, and we could do anything. There was endless possibilities, and we are just homesick. We want to go back. That's where we belong. This is why we dream of new worlds. Nobody wants to live in this world. It's survivable, but it's not what we really dream of. It's not where we belong. Okay. They used to call this land by the name of Eden. That's right, the Garden of Eden, and we are going back there. We're going to go back to where Adam and Eve lived, and it is a place of pure high vibrations. Only high vibrations can exist there. So this is why we need to practice spirituality and meditation and whatever we can do to raise our vibration so that way we can match these frequencies and we can manifest ourselves there. Now I've seen UFOs, at least one clearly in my life, and it was clear as day even though it was night. There was starlight, there was moonlight, and it was so close. I saw it just blink out of existence, shoot across the sky at least a few hundred feet, and then just blink out of existence again. And they were traveling through dimensions, and I think my theory is that's how it works. You can literally blink through dimensions once you become powerful enough. Once your vibration is high enough, you'll be able to do pretty much anything. And that's what aliens do. That's why they're interdimensional beings. So when we go back to Eden, it's important to remember that Eden is this plane between heaven and earth. It is heaven on earth. So it is going to be much like that. We will still have physical bodies, but they're going to be more like light. They're going to be lighter bodies. Matter is going to be farther apart. Our thoughts, which are already powerful in this dimension, they can attract people and things into our lives. This power will increase, anything we think of will instantaneously be manifested. You think like as long as you set a strong intention, like I really want an apple right now, boom, there's an apple. Like anything, you can fly, you can shoot lasers from your eye, but most likely, like you're living in this high vibration, you're not going to want to be destructive. You're going to be more creative. You're going to be closer to that of a deity or a god. And we are all sparks of God. We're just going through this soul journey, experiencing ourselves subjectively in this illusion of separation. We're not actually separate. Now, some people call it going back to Eden. That's what I like to call it. A lot of people call it New Earth. And New Earth is really just a concept. It's something that we are all co-creating currently. And it can be anything you want it to be. New Earth is going to be a whole new place where the geography of the planet is going to be completely different. Atlantis will rise again. Ancient technologies will be used. Crystals will power whole cities. This is New Earth. This is the future, what we are currently building right now. It starts with our imagination. So right now everybody's just imagining it, dreaming it up. And that's all we have to do right now is dream it up, because once we have control of our planet again as individuals, and there is actually no control over the planet, we don't have to pay rent or taxes, and we're not being enslaved by some government, then we can start building our own worlds. And nobody's going to tell us what to do. If you don't want to live in those cities, then you can go off and live on your own. Create your own little world and your own little community, or just be in solitude if you don't want to live in community. You can do whatever you want. That's what New Earth is. Instead of living in this disharmonic world where technology is destroying the earth, it's going to be the opposite. We will still have technology, even more powerful technology actually, because we will be using it in harmony with the earth. And the earth plays a big part in our ascension. A lot of people thought Jesus was going to come and save us. And yes, in a sense he did. He did come back, just not in the flesh. He came back in the sense that we are becoming like him. We are learning to forgive, because forgiveness makes us lighter, and that will allow us to be raptured. That will allow us to ascend into the next dimension where he pretty much came from. He came down and taught us these lessons, but most people, they twisted his words, and I think a lot of it was corrupted. Like, they twisted his words to make you think otherwise. So basically telling you like he's going to come back and save you from all your sins, and in essence it's okay to just keep sinning because you'll be forgiven, right? But that's actually the worst thing you can do. You need to be raising your vibration, and the only way to do that is to be making acts of random kindness, and just actually showing the earth reverence, showing her that you care and that you want to go with her on this journey, because she's the one that's evolving. We're just going with her. We are matching her because we are part of nature. But if we don't become in harmony with nature ourselves before this shift, before the poles shift, before everything, the magnetics of the world shift, and we upgrade, we level up, if we do not go through all of that, then we're going to be stuck here. There's going to be a rapture. There is going to be a physical rapture that will take everybody. But keep in mind that that's not going to be the only bus out of here. Like, you will be able to get to Eden many other ways. And you just have to show the earth that you care. You have to have strong intention. You have to dedicate yourself. Like, seriously, give up your worldly desires, your flesh desires, and start doing something bigger than yourself. Start doing something for the whole of humanity. This is what we call God's work. Start doing God's work. There's a free will that you have as an individual, but there's also this will of God, and source, I call it source energy, it's this energy that we came from, it has a will of its own. It has a plan, a divine plan for everything. And sometimes it takes death to create new life. Sometimes it takes death of the old ways to give birth to a new world. So there will have to be a lot of devastation and destruction because humans did not heed the warnings of all these prophecies. And still, people do not want to heed the warnings of these prophecies. Edgar Cayce predicted that so many things would happen, and most of his predictions came true. All of the scary ones, too. And now we are at the point where one of his final predictions has half came true. So he said that as soon as Mount Etna and Mount Pelée erupt at the same time or simultaneously, there that's when people will have 90 days to evacuate the coast. Most Mostly he's talking about like California, of course, because we all know California is going down. New York's going to suffer too. Many coastlines, the whole world is going to change. The safest place to be is probably going to be New Zealand because Zealandia is coming back. Under New Zealand, this little strip is a giant landmass that is going to rise up while the rest of the world is pretty much sinking. This is nothing to be afraid of. I'm not saying this to scare anybody. I just want everybody to be mentally prepared, emotionally prepared. If you feel called to leave the coastline, follow your heart. Do what you got to do. If you're feeling this tug, this pull, like you need to go, then go. I'm not feeling that yet. I still feel safe. I live here in California. I feel like we have at least a couple years. But I honestly don't think we're going to see the same world as it is today in 3 years. By 2025, everything is going to change. We'll be lucky if we're still here, but do not be afraid of death, because sometimes you have to die to ascend. To ascend you must die, and this is actually a lyric from a Tool song, but it's very accurate. I still don't know 100% for sure what's going to happen. There's a lot of things happening in Revelations that were prophesied. I believe Mount Etna already erupted last year, and it's been erupting a lot. Mount Pelée is starting to have seismic activity. What I believe is this is the last trumpet, the angel's trumpet, and they're going to blow that trumpet. As soon as that volcano blows, that's our final sign that the rapture is coming, like the shift is coming. There's no more fucking around, like it's time to get serious. We need to start doing everything we need to do. Like let go of those layers, shed those layers, raise your vibration, find yourself, know yourself, your deepest, divinest part of yourself. You need to bring that out. You need to summon your higher self into your body now, because that is what's going to take you there. That is how we get back to Eden. A lot of people are talking about 4D, 5D Earth, and they're saying they're already there. But what they're talking about is a mental state of consciousness. And we need to actually place our consciousness into the 4D, 5D to actually manifest ourselves there. The only way to physically manifest ourselves there is to put our vibration there, put our consciousness there. It's the same thing, like you create an aura with your intention, and then that aura is going to attract everything that you desire, everything that you put into that aura, that intention. Everything works like magnetics in that way. And the reason people are getting so confused is they think it's more of a metaphorical thing, but I assure you, we are going to ascend physically as well. But first we have to ascend consciously. It's the only way. Your inner world has to match your outer world. Sorry, your outer world has to match your inner world, because everything comes from within. So it's coming from within and out. It's shooting out. You are projecting everything. You are creating everything. Your reality, it's all you. We are co-creating. We are all God. And we are about to become superhumans, neo-humans, new humans with superpowers. We're going to have 46 and 2 chromosomes, just like the Tool song says. And they were inspired by Carl Jung and Drunvalo Melchizedek, of course, no doubt. But doesn't mean that like these things aren't true. Like there's so many people talking about all of this, but not everybody sees the full picture. And the full picture is that we are going to become superhumans. Like seriously, we're gonna have superpowers. This is why the obsession exists, is because that's where we belong. That's the world we are meant to live in. So keep imagining what New Earth is gonna look like because we are creating it. And this is the age of Aquarius. A lot of people think that the world was going to end in 2012, but the truth was it was just the end of a zodiac cycle for the Earth's precession of the equinox. So the Earth spins like this, like a top, and it goes through these zodiac cycles. We left Pisces in 2012 and moved to the age of Aquarius. This is when a lot of people started waking up, especially a lot of the first way showers and light workers that started making YouTube videos and putting themselves out there long before anybody else did, long before I did, long before I even knew they existed. And has been many waves of light workers and way showers since the 1970s, but as soon as 2012 hit, it was a huge increase. It was a whole new wave. And then of course 10 years later we have this another wave, and we owe COVID for that. And there's this New World Order, and they used to think that New Earth was the New World Order, but we had to change that term a little bit. The New World Order is the plan that is being put out by the world elites to try to keep us from waking up, to try to keep us from ascending. They don't want us to ascend. They want us to stay here in this 3D world so they can keep controlling us. But that's not going to work. That's not going to happen. We will inevitably ascend, even if you're not one of the first ones. They say 144,000 will be raptured, and that they will protect the earth. But I don't know about that number. I think 144 is definitely significant, and I see it almost every day. But it just comes to me and it shows itself to me, reveals itself to me, but I don't know if it's like 144,000, maybe it's 144 million, or let's hope for 1.44 billion, because we we want to save as many people as we can, but it's also important to remember that there's no such thing as death. It's all just an illusion. Um, Eventually, you will ascend anyways, even if you have to regain a new human body. So it's important that we do save the human race. And that's not something we have to worry about because people are going to survive. There's enough humans in the world that we will survive. And honestly, there's nothing to even worry about. Just only things to get excited about, things to question, things to wonder and ponder and contemplate, and just keep doing that because that's how we create. I honestly don't know if it's going to be important to save our physical bodies. If we have to die to ascend, then it won't matter anyways. I can't tell you that for sure. That's just something you're going to have to figure out on your own. I'm only going to offer my speculations, and you can take it for what it is. Try to figure things out on your own. Don't ever listen to what anybody says full-heartedly. Figure it out on your own. Be your own teacher. Don't listen to me. But do heed my words. Just don't take it fully to heart unless you feel it. Unless you truly feel that what I'm saying is true. And of course there is a lot of truth to what I'm saying. I can't say that it's 100% true. Because it hasn't happened yet. The future hasn't happened yet. The future isn't set. We're still changing it. We can still change everything. There's no telling what can happen. It's all up to you. 2022 is the year of free will. This is our last chance to change things. This is it. We're almost to the point of no return. And we either take everybody with us or society makes a split. And that's okay. But you get to choose. Where do you want to be in that split? You don't have to stay here. But if you want to go to Eden, you got to give back to Earth. You got to show her that you want it, that you really want it. You got to. I still need to do more. You can also hold healing ceremonies for the Earth, for the people, for the feminine energy, because the feminine energy is what we've ignored, and that's why we've ignored Mother Earth, because all of these things, especially religion, they geared away from the female aspect and focus more on the male aspect. They think that the male energy created everything, right? Which actually I don't think that's true, because creative energy is a feminine thing. It's definitely a feminine energy. So if you ask me, I think the female came first. Like, there's no way. That's the creative energy. So most religions will focus on, oh, well, God made everything, so we don't have to worship the earth. And I've asked religious people this, like, why don't you worship God, this being you can't even see, and you say he's a male or whatever, and he's separate from you, and he controls you. He's an all-loving being, but he controls you through fear. I gotta question that too. But why should we not worship the mother and only the father when the mother gave birth? When the mother literally breathes life into us every single day. We're literally walking on her every day, and most of us are not even mindful of it, and we're not thinking like, oh, what we're walking on is the earth. It's a living being. No, most people are just thinking, oh, it's the ground. It's just the ground. We've forgotten because we've been taught to forget. We've been distracted. We've been geared away from that female aspect, mostly through religion. And you can even see it through behavior in men. When there's a female in the room and more men, the men will actually just drown out her voice. And it's like a subconscious thing. It's a programming that we need to undo and start healing that feminine energy as well as the masculine, because we all need healing. But the feminine energy is what we've neglected the most, and the whole reason for that is so that we don't ascend, so that we keep ignoring the earth. We only worship this invisible thing instead of what is actually giving us life every day. It just never made sense to me. Okay, so New Earth is here. The Age of Aquarius is here. We still have yet to ascend physically to 4D, 5D. Of course, we have to go to 4D first because it's a step. We have to go through these steps. Eventually, we'll be in 12D, but it takes time to get there. This is the most exciting time to be alive, so remember who you are inside, because you have to become that person. That person is going to take you where you need to be. Always just follow your heart. And most of all, do not live in fear, because fear will hold you back. Let go of your fear. Let go of all your attachments to this world. Embrace the fact that things are changing. Embrace the new world that's coming. Let go of it all. Go with the flow. Let it take you. Do not fight it. Do not be afraid. Everything is going to work out so much more beautifully than you've ever imagined. And when you see New Earth, you will drop to your knees and you will weep, because it will be the most beautiful thing you ever see. And so I wish all the love and luck and light to you, young warrior, young Padawan. May you rise like the phoenix. Love you all.